So let's start with step number one. When we're going to pre-qualify a borrower, we need to go ahead and make it as easy and as fast as possible. For that reason, we're going to go ahead and use a specific software that's provided by one of the lenders that we work with called Blink. Now, here we're going to go ahead and on that website, we're going to go ahead and see that there's different links on the top. One of them says pipeline, which is what you're seeing right now. You're going to have a list of borrowers, and it's going to say if they've already been approved, what the status of their loan is, if there's any messages, who the loan officer is, and who it was sent to in terms of either the lender or if it was just saved on the computer. On the top, you're going to see how to create a loan. You're going to either start a new application if you're going to do it on your own with the borrower on the phone, or if you're going to have the borrower with you presently, and then that way you're going to be able to go over all the terms and definitions that need to be explained and all the information that needs to be completed on the application. Just below that, if you're importing a file, now this isn't going to be as common because I would prefer most of my brokers or loan originators to start an application through here instead of doing it through their LOS or loan origination software. But you can do that as well, and then you would be able to import your file from there to this website as a MISMO 3.4 file. Over in the middle it says pricing. You're going to be able to check out interest rates. Administration on admin, you're going to be able to see any reports or any other information that is administratively pertinent. Now where it says my account, then you're going to be able to see your password, ID, and if you need to change anything there as well. Over on the left, we're going to go ahead and click on where it says start a new application. Now this is exactly what your borrowers are going to see. To be able to start an application, they need to complete their first name, last name, their primary phone number, their email address, confirm their email address, and then they're going to click on I agree to the terms of use and privacy policy, and then they click on create your account. Over on the top it says, do you want to email the borrower? If you're completing this application with them in person, you can go ahead and click on yes so that they receive a message and they have a link to be able to access the same application. But if you are including their email address, they're going to receive an email anyway, so they're going to be able to see this information. So you'll be fine anyway. Okay, once you're finally in, you're going to be able to complete most of the information on the application. It starts by asking you what's the purpose of the loan. This, for example, would be purchase. And then you could click next, or it'll ask you the property zip code. So you can put here 32832 if that's your zip code. And then what's the purchase price? If the purchase price is, let's say, $500,000, we're going to put $500,000. And then the down payment percentage. These are all estimates. Nothing has to be exact, so you don't have to worry about that when you're helping your borrowers. Even though most of this application or the entire application, I actually want you to send the link which you're going to be able to have access to, which is going to be specific to you when you create an account on Blink, that you're going to provide the borrower via email or via text message so that they can complete it on their own, which is going to be much easier for you and less time consuming, and it'll allow the borrower to complete everything. Now remember, any information they complete can always be corrected, so it's perfectly fine if they make mistakes or if they put the wrong amounts. So in this case right now, we're just going to assume a 5%, and then you're going to see over on the left, it's going to show $25,000, which would be 5% of $500,000. And additional loan options. If this is a VA loan, you would click yes. If not, no. And if you have any other new mortgage loans for this property, yes. If not, no. And then you click on next. Then if the borrower is married, unmarried, or married but not going to be applying with a spouse, or if they're separated but they are married. So I'm going to click on unmarried, I'm not married, and then it's going to ask you for an unmarried addendum. Is there a person who is not your legal spouse but who currently has real property rights similar to those of a legal spouse? And then we're going to click on no. Again, this is just for example purposes. You're going to need to ask these questions to your borrower unless you send them the link like I mentioned before, and then they would complete this information on their own. If they need your assistance, they can always call you and ask you for assistance. Will you be applying with anyone else? Let's click on no. Their date of birth, social security number, their citizenship, their primary and mailing address, and then over on the bottom they need to complete their former addresses, the type of property they have. Remember, former addresses needs to be for at least a 2-year time span. If it's not 2 years, they're going to have to add several addresses until they complete 2 years. The type of property that they're purchasing, if it's going to be a single-family residence, a condo, a townhouse, a multifamily property, and then a little bit further down, if this is their primary residence. This is very important. If this is going to be their primary residence, second home or vacation home, or an investment property, which is also considered a rental property. And then a little bit further down, they need to acknowledge and authorize that any information that's obtained here and information that's required to be able to pull their credit be approved by them. So they need to click on both boxes and then click on next. Now, we're not going to finish the application in detail, but I do want to tell you that from this page on, all they have to do is complete their employment information, their income, assets, and verifications. And then once they're done, they just need to click on a button that says submit. All the way on the top, you're going to have an application or loan number that you can save. And then once you're done, you can click on pipeline. And when you go to pipeline, you're going to see that loan on pipeline.